Hey, everybody, on this episode of the GH Report, Lacretia's going to actually physically glue me to the seat just because I know for some reason people actually asked for that to happen. You guys, I don't know why you're doing this to yourself, but we're going to talk about all that. Really, we are? And GH next. Hey, everybody, on this episode of the GH Report, you asked for it. Lacretia's going to actually glue me to the seat because for some reason you folks want me to rant. We're going to do all that and more next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, everybody, look at that. It is Sunday. It is the GH Report. It is happening right here on AfterBuzz TV. Hey, everybody, we're back. Well, most of us are back. Yeah. I'm back. Look at me. I'm back. I made it back, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. We're going to talk about everything in GH. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie.
And I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys. You can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet since there is only one.
Now, there's not just one, but two people crucial to the GH Report that are gone today. But they happen to be gone for the very same reason. Of course, Papa Bear, James Lott Jr., is always, in the captain's seat. I'm going to, barely be able to hold a candle to what he can do in the seat. But we also have Alexis Torres, our usual engineer. They're both gone because Alexis Torres is getting married today. Yes, look at that. Yeah. To Mr. Neil Plumley. So for those of you that listen to other after shows here, Neil also is engineer here at AfterBuzz. Look at that.
Yeah, he even sat in for the show last week.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. So look at this. How beautiful. They're getting married.
A family.
Yeah. And James Lott Jr., is he doing anything special for the reception or the ceremony? Is he just watching?
I think he's just watching, but it's very un-James Lott Jr., so we'll have to hear about what he put up his sleeve.
I'm hoping he does one of those, I object. Just why not? Let's do it. Come on. It's a good soap opera twist.
I know. You have to do that.
Yes. So anyway, though, regardless, even though our hearts are with them and we wish them all the best, especially Alexis and Neil, we will be breaking down the GH Report the only way we know how, which is about ranting of a lot of things that drove us crazy for this past week on GH. And as always, folks, you can like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Why not give us a thumbs up while you're there? I mean, if you're going to go that far, might as well just throw a thumbs up on it. And we're so close, so close to those 2,000 likes for the Facebook page.
We're crawling up there, Frank.
Oh, yeah. So, I think have we even hit 1,600 yet?
I think we've hit 1,600. Let me do some sleuthing here and find our numbers.
We're going to find an accurate update there from Lacretia Lyon. And while she does that, I will just take a little tangent because I was not here last week. I did tweet out some of my feelings about last week. One of my personal lows, if anybody tells me, what is a moment that in GH history that just makes you sad, I will go to that sequence there in the floating rib when Maxie and Nathan are talking and Mac and Felicia walk up to them and interrupt their conversation. And Felicia's line, as I tweeted it out there, was like, how was the flight? Was it a good one? That right there, a personal low point for General Hospital. For me, at least.
Yeah, I actually mentioned you last week when Matt got drug into the Manlander. So I was like, Frank is going to hate this because you love Mac and you hate this storyline.
It was just bonkers. All right. So what was that?
It is 1610. So yes, just over 1,600.
All right.
Oh yeah.
I have to eat a little bit of crow. I didn't even think we'd get that far. All right. So just a mere 390 away from the super ultra cool grand deluxe prize package that James Lott Jr. is putting together. I know. Oof. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to blow your socks off. I think our next goal should be very much more modest after that. Let's just go 2010. That'll be like the next modest goal. So, I hate to backtrack for it because I know there's so much going on, but that scene, I just could not believe it.
It was so horrible.
That people actually wrote that in a script. And they said, you know what? This would be great for Felicia to say right now. How was the flight? Was it a good one? Oh, come on.
That's it.
That was
That's it.
Oh, we got it, guys. We can go home now. Everybody, let's give ourselves a high five, pat ourselves on the back, and go enjoy a drink after work. Yeah, that, and I'm sure you guys talked about this last week too, but for all the talk about, hey, when's Maxie coming back? When's Kirsten Storm coming back? I assume there's more in the future than just that one little appearance.
Yeah, there have been pictures from Bradford Anderson showing him with her, then they're filming, but apparently that was like one to kind of hold off because, you know, everybody's been asking, and it's like, really, why couldn't we have just waited a little bit more and had her really in the storyline?
Yes, because this
is terrible.
Yeah, that the sense of cluelessness that went in there for as much as you're gonna get on just like chop Mac off at the knees and make him be involved in this dumb man Landers thing, to have him also as like, you know, I'm really trying to keep the relationship alive, then to be so completely oblivious to the fact that, hey, maybe Nathan and Maxie would like a little alone time together. That I was like, why is this happening? I don't understand this. You cannot be, as parents, as just human beings, observing the fact that, hey, people that haven't seen each other in a long time, maybe they'd want to spend just a little bit of time together by themselves.
A little bit.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff, guys. That was my personal low moment for General Hospital. Oh boy. But we've got many other great things. Especially speaking of low moments, the whole Sam and her, whatever the name of that disease was, the whatever.
Toxoplasmosis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
man.
you get mostly from cat litter, just so people know. And that's why I'm like, the thing you get from cat litter, like, apparently they just opened up WebMD and threw in some symptoms and came up with that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe there was a lot of like somebody dumped their litter box right there off the bridge.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't go. I'm not gonna throw this in the garbage. I'm just gonna put it in my car and dump this litter box off a bridge.
Yeah, they thought they were recycling.
So we get the revelation that she's got toxic plasmosis. This was a terrible storyline.
Well, because I don't really understand what it's driving. And I think that's the thing, is with a lot of the other things, like, for example, the Ava and Valentine sort of thing, the way that storyline is coming together is great. And you're like, I see where this is going. I like where it's going. I want to see more. With this Sam thing, since day one, we're like, this is stupid. This is stupid. It's only getting more stupid. Why? Like, what is the purpose of this?
I don't understand because, all right, so she gets shot, and I guess it's coming to a point where even if Sonny said, hey, you know what, Sam actually shot me, we've already had her been diagnosed with toxic plasmosis, that she's been having, hallucinations and stuff like that. She's clearly not in her right mind when this happened.
Yeah, and absolutely no one, except maybe Carly, but even then, I don't think so, would care. Sonny's fine, she's fine, so what was the point? Yeah, and that's what I say, is what is this driving? Why did it need to happen?
Yes.
I don't see anything coming out of this other than, okay, Garvey's dead or whatever, but who cared?
I know, I would have, the other part of the scene, and it happened last week, so I apologize, but where she finally confronts Sonny right there on the pier after he's having that altercation with Garvey, and no more talking, and then they spend the majority of the rest of the episode, she ends up just talking at Sonny. I'm like, for somebody that just wanted to come in and just shoot him, you did a terrible job of that, Sam. You just spent a lot of time I would have respected it more if she just would have walked in and just capped him and said that was it. But the fact that she had to keep kind of explaining why she was doing this to him, like, oh, please, Sam, please.
Yeah, it was just like, again, really bad story because none of us get what the point was. Because normally you're like, oh, okay, that really drove this. Like we say, the Ava Byrne putting her with Valentine with this Nicholas case. It's like, okay, there are layers, and this is great. But with this, what are we gaining? Other than I like to see Finn and Dr. Hot Priest work together. That's the silver lining.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. So either Sonny says, yep, Sam shot me, or he covers and puts it all on Garvey since he's dead and he can't deny the story anyway. And Sam gets off scot-free. But either way, what's the whole point? She would never be convicted in either scenario. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, so what's the point? He's fine, she's fine, nobody cares. And Taylor Jones brings up, this storyline is just plain awful, but they did a really great hallucination storyline with Nicholas and Emily years ago, where he had the brain tumor, and it's like, why couldn't they have done that?
Yeah. To have Sam again fall down the stairs, to have her, enough with Sam in hospitals for a while. Please, after this, just let's make it a while before we ever see Sam in a hospital bed again.
Yeah, because that was the thing. It's like she'd just been through this bad pregnancy and things like that. Why did we need another Sam's in Crisis storyline? Just because Kelly Monaco's good at it doesn't mean you have to keep doing it.
Oh, this has been a chore to get through, and the resolution, like you're saying, just has zero impact. So I'm like, all right, well, this is great. So what's the next adventure? Like, remember when there used to be Curtis and Jason, and even Sam occasionally wanted to talk about doing like a private detective agency.
Yeah.
How about ever going back to that?
That would be really interesting. Yeah, but God forbid.
Oh man. So we get the whole thing with Sonny, and I thought of you many times as Sonny's trapped in that hole. And he would either ask himself or the ghost of Stone would come and ask him, "Do you want to give up?" And I was imagining Lacretia was always at home watching, going, "Yes, he wants to give up. He wants to give up. That's it. Goodbye, Sonny." I was imagining you rooting for Sonny. And he said, "Yep, I'm gone. Let's just go off to heaven."
Well, just so everyone knows, Sam did shoot him in the femoral artery, so he would have bled out. I'm sorry, it's not believable. At one bit, she could have shot him in the chest and it would have been believable. Well, more so than that. It's and the thing is, and again, I'll compare. We have Ava, who is mangled or whatever, and taking responsibility for her actions. We'll talk about her Seam Valley, all this stuff. She's like, I'm bad, I'm evil, I want to just stay away, I want to do all this. Sonny, even on his deathbed, is such a good father. Oh, my kids. Not, hey, I'm shot because my friend's wife has gone insane, but all these things she was saying were kind of true. None of that. And I'm here because of a mob thing. He kidnapped my nephew because of a mob thing. No responsibility whatsoever. And this is supposed to be our hero? And that's why I'm God. And to say that, Dante and Michael are at all like him is well, please, no.
Well, I guess the big thing about this is that we have Stone come in to pay him a visit. Did you like the Stone appearance?
That was interesting. I mean, it's always great to see him, and that's such an iconic character, and one of the few times where Sonny was actually likable. One of the great relationships, much like his with Spencer. Yeah.
It, again, one of those where I thought it was cool, and yet I felt like there's a lot of stuff left unsaid, or there's a lot of stuff you could have really tapped into to that relationship. Where it did just, if they get a chance to actually bring Stone back for an episode, let's actually hear them talk about a lot more stuff than just the general oh, Sonny, you're gonna die or whatever, or do you want to die? Do you want to get out of here? You put your hands out. Put your hands out. Do you feel like you're caged in? So I don't know. I was excited to have him back, but also felt like there's a lot of left on the table. Yeah,
and that was the thing is, again, what was the purpose of it? It didn't seem to drive anything. It was just hey, this will be, buzzworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the thing is again, this whole storyline, I don't understand the purpose of it.
Yeah, I guess if you're gonna bring Stone back, I wanted this to have more impact than it did.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, this whole thing doesn't seem to have any impact.
Yeah, I feel like that's the same thing with bringing Maxie back in last week. It's just you're bringing in these characters, these really important characters and iconic characters on the canvas, and then what they do is of so little import. You're
yeah.
All right, well, thanks for that. I mean, I guess as an actor, I'm sure you're happy to have the day of work, but I also feel like you would also want to have some material you could really sink your teeth into.
Yeah, and again, the beauty of soaps is most things happen for a reason and drive all these different things, as we're seeing with some of the other storylines going on. But with this, it's almost seems separate outside of everything else that was going on, and there doesn't seem to be any purpose, anything touching to start something new.
I would be curious if Sonny even mentions this to anybody. Oh, hey, you know what? I saw Stone. He can't even talk to me for a little bit. Or I imagine that it's not until the next time that Robin comes back on canvas and sees Sonny.
And that's the thing is without Steve Burton there as Jason, I don't feel like we're going to get it with a Jason scene, just because it would kind of seem odd. And then, without Robin on canvas all the time, too, we're not going to hear about that. I don't think that's something he'd tell Carly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so he's just gonna okay, well, you had this moment, and I don't know if Sonny comes out of this like a changed man at all. It doesn't seem like it's going to be.
Yeah, Sonny being a changed man, I would eat some crow live on the air.
Yeah, I mean, because he's already been making declarations that he's going to be leaving the mob. He's setting up this waterfront building side with Michael, trying to go legit. but I don't know. It's like he's already on that path. So to have this happen, I don't feel like it's going to change any of his mindset. Either he's going to continue doing what he's doing. I don't think he's going to go like, oh, you know what? I'm going to stick in the mob now. That's a good idea. So, great stuff. But I also like the countdown sequence because what I liked most about that is that so Carly goes over to Nell's place, finds Michael. They have this whole conversation. They kind of put two and two together when they see Jocelyn's necklace. Which I'll get to that in a second. My thoughts on that.
Yeah, that was like, what the hell?
Oh, but then so Carly takes off. Says, hey, why don't you call Dante? Let him know what's going on, where I'm heading to. In a matter of soap opera moments, she's already there at the crash site. And for something that they really did a great job of securing and it's supposed to like blocking up, like we're not detonating till everybody's clear.
Yeah.
She's easily able to get into this location and go where Sunny is. Wow, guys, great job of securing this area that you're going to be detonating.
This very dangerous area because apparently it's super dangerous. She should have never been over there. And I'm like, I used to play on construction sites when I was younger than Jocelyn. Like,
it's I did like the one. I will say that I liked at least the way they kind of executed it was for the first explosion or detonation where they kind of got down to one and they cut away and come back and then it's already the rubble. It's like, all right, that's a nice little way to get around. Seeing, since you're really on a TV budget, especially a soap opera one, can't really show that big detonation. And so I was fine with that, but that was only like a 10-second countdown. The other one, when they started counting down from 30, I'm like, oh man, all right, that's enough of the counting, guys. Please. And to Dante, then just to kind of, whoa, hold on a second. That whole detonation thing was just so crazy.
Well, into it's just like, okay, they've blown up one thing and it barely did anything. And then it's like, oh, no, there's another one. And it's like, really? I mean, we've already had one close call. Like, we all know what's going to happen. It was just kind of lame. It's like no one feels like these characters are at all in danger because the entire show is, like, centered around them. So that's sometimes why it's like we don't even feel for that anymore.
Yeah, because I'm also thinking, too, like when you're doing those kind of detonations there, it's supposed to be situated in such a way that the impact, it kind of just falls within itself. It doesn't kind of go out, it kind of goes in. It kind of does more of an implosion. If you set it up right, because the idea is you don't want to be sending debris flying all over the place. So for this, like when they cut back and they're just showered in debris, I'm like, this was lousy demolition work by whoever set this up. Because that's because they were nowhere near a building when that thing blew up. So I'm like, all right, that's terrible work, guys. I'd fire them, Michael. Send those guys away. To why they needed a cop to go and stop the detonation, as where Michael knows this detonation's going on, can't just call the foreman and directly and say, "Hey, hold on this. I'm the boss of this whole operation, so just stop."
Yeah, that would have been the logical thing of, "Hey, can we stop this because we need to check this?" Nope, we have to. And that was the thing is like they were just creating these dramatic situations that were just unbelievable. Yeah, and like Dion's Corner brings up, something's fishy about Nell's vast knowledge of bullets, though. LOL. I mean, yeah, that was a random thing. It's like, okay, I guess they had to give her a line, like, oh, that's a bullet casing. And yeah, I mean, why would that be like the break in the case? It was just so dumb, the whole thing.
I can only guess they plant that seed there because they're going to go back to the Bobby, Carly, and Felicia kind of investigating Nell's background. And I guess gunplay or something will come into it, I'm guessing. So that way you can kind of set that line up. But, all right, tell me, because I would think, like, all right, Jocelyn is what, 13?
Yeah, 13, 14, yeah.
I still think no matter what, you would know what a gun shell casing looks like. You've seen TV shows, you've seen
where they come off.
Yes.
I mean, and that's the thing is I thought that was odd that they didn't know that's what that was. Like,
yeah. So when what's his name kind of picks it up and it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make something out of this, and then to have Jocelyn take it around and people say, hey, this is a gun shell casing. What? Huh?
I love what Mick Reese says because it's so true because one of my good friends is Australian. It's like, so Joss, who spends time in the outback with her father and grandmother, has no idea what a bullet casing looks like. Everything in Australia is trying to kill you. They'd have a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre that she had no idea what this was. It was. And that Michael gets sidetracked so much about like her going into like a dangerous area than about anything else. Like, oh, this is, what about all the signs? This is an incredibly dangerous area. Like, relax, Michael. It's all right.
No.
Oh.
I know. As I say, this whole thing is just like, did y'all have something else in place that didn't work out, that y'all just threw this together? Because it's like, what was this whole storyline? It was just all dumb.
Yeah, but it was. What's interesting is that it involved so many people because they had those 2 days where we've got Jocelyn and what's his name,
Oscar.
Oscar. That's it. They go to that crash site, and I guess the idea is that they at least get the gun shell casing so they can kind of play it later. But before that, I was just like, all right, so they go to this thing and they just leave, and they never have any interaction with Sonny.
Money? Yeah.
I thought like maybe it was going to be Jocelyn that was going to find him, and then like,
which would have been interesting. Yeah.
Nope, that didn't happen at all. I'm like,
yeah, they just had to drag it out more.
It was amazing how long that drug out, and with so many people involved in it. And for this, I'm like, oh boy, okay. What I guess I can only say this week there was no Manlanders, which is, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And then we also have Dante. Dante, as much as I enjoy him, but he also gets on Carly. Say, you know what, you've been searching. You need to go home. You got to, take care of yourself and your family. To then, when he gets told to go home, nope, I'm staying on the case. This is my father. I got to go. Like, all right, Dante, sure. Okay, it's your boss. It's one thing to just have, just a kind of sort of a family relation tell you something, but this is your boss saying, go home.
Well, Dante's home is Lulu, and she's a bit annoying, so maybe he didn't want to go home. Oh, poor Lulu.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So we've got those. We got that storyline. We'll see what happens with it next week. What did you think of Garvey as a bad guy? I feel like he kept popping up.
Yeah.
And
for what?
To go out like this. I'm like, that's it? I was like, oh, man, way to kill him off. And to show you, like, he gets shot. I guess he got shot twice by Sonny.
Yeah.
So I guess that made the difference because Sonny had the bulletproof vest on. So he only really got one shot in the leg. But Sonny gets off with, like, there was just absolutely no tension at all about that. The doctor comes out, oh, yeah, we got the bullet. He's coming out of anesthesia. Everything's fine. To Garvey, he's bleeding internally again. They got to go fix him, and he still dies. Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it, guys. That was
and I just love these are the moments though that I actually like Carly when she's admittingly a horrible person. Like, oh well, no loss there. When it's like, I was just about to tell you Garvey died. Like, and then Garvey's like, yeah, screw that guy. Like, it's like I at least like you in your hood and all. Like, I don't care. That's cool.
Speaking of hood, though, I like the way because Garvey gets a hold of Liz and wants her to go
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things.
To Carly go and say, I'll go get it for you, and then do the runaround around that pillar and just knock him down. I'm like, all right, Carly. I think she had like her knee right there on the wound.
Yep.
I was like, all right, that's a good move, Carly. Way to go.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Carly, but I knew Liz was like, she's going to be the death of me.
Yeah, and it had just enough scenes for people coming into Garvey's hospital room, wanting to intimidate him, whether it be Carly, whether it be Jason. Everybody just kept coming, easily going into Garvey's room. And we just always get the shot of just like opening up from their perspective, the door opening and them walking up to Garvey. I'm like, okay, we got this, great. So, speaking of other storylines that I guess might be kind of frustrating me, and I don't know how you feel about it, we've got the whole Hayden and Finn story.
Yeah, this sucks because it was such a good story. And the thing is, the way that they're ending them, and I think we saw in the previews for this next week, I think she goes to talk to Raymond Berlin in prison about what to do. And that's kind of interesting that we'll sort of see this character, but it's just, they were such a good couple and in such a good place. Why does Rebecca Budding have to leave? And why do we have to bring it into the storyline that she apparently paralyzed some girl drinking and driving? Like,
yeah, it's
that is just dark.
It kind of feels, as I was thinking about it today, it feels sort of like that Olivia Stephen Lars story, where all of a sudden it came out that like, oh wait, I had
killed a patient.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then it just like kind of pops up out of nowhere. Just when they're about to get married, and then he just gets arrested and has to leave.
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing. And it's it was a great story with two characters you really liked that were kind of like side characters, and they were very connected, like with Stephen Lars and with Hayden. She found out Elizabeth's her sister. I mean, Franco was in the mix at the time of when Stephen Lars was around, I think. This was just before we figured out all that. It's like there was so much potential. Why? And especially if they have to leave abruptly, whether they wanted to or whatever, why always screw this character over?
Yeah, it's it just feels terrible because I think there's a lot of storyline potential, and I guess she's leaving due to story reasons, but that doesn't seem right to me because I think there's a lot of story potential left in Hayden. So
yeah, and that's the thing is I don't get. We were going in a really great direction, especially with her and Liz's relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To now have this sort of truncated, and I mean, I don't know. It's like Finn is certainly no angel. He's done a lot of questionable things in his past.
He wouldn't judge her. I mean,
I don't think so,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing is I don't even get why this would be the reason for them to break up or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
For all she needs to do is just come clean with him. I think he would forgive her for anything like that and be there with her to help her out through this. But I guess she's not going to, and so we're going to find out what she does wrong to set Finn off. But I can't imagine, even right now with her kind of like still going along with the marriage proposal and not really saying anything. I still feel like even if Finn found out right now, he still wouldn't say like, you didn't tell me right away. I'm done with you. I still feel like he wouldn't do that either.
No, he wouldn't do that either. Yeah.
So I don't know what is going to end up that she does. I have a feeling it's not going to be what she does, but what somebody does to her, where they basically just get her to confess or something, and she ends up having to do time, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Is they're going to have her go to jail for this? To be honest, I don't even know if they can. I mean, knowing what I know about DUI statutes, because the girl didn't die, I don't think she can be charged at this point.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the thing is, I mean, I don't know because that is a state-by-state basis, and I only really know more Texas, California law, and a little bit of New Mexico, thanks to Better Call Saul. But it's just frustrating because it's like I don't see how any of this is even going to make her exit, other than she feels shame, so leaves her willingly. But she's happy. Why would she do that?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see here, and I'll be curious to see what happens with Ulbricht after that as well, too.
Yeah, because that's sort of the thing is Ulbricht had really made strides, and doing this, at least, this is something that any soap character would do. They always try to screw each other over, and this is not like a crime. So it's not that she's going to go to jail for this, but it's just even Nathan isn't going to be okay with her going after Hayden like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels so weird to have her be so dead set against Finn. And as they've brought it many times on the show, for even during when she was incarcerated and Finn was talking to her outside her cell, it's like, you're mad at me for doing what you were going to do to me.
Yeah.
And it's still this intense hatred that she has for Finn just seems crazy to me at this point.
Yeah, that was the thing is a lot of us were like, it was unreasonable in the beginning. So it was like, oh, is he maybe Nathan's dad? Like all this. And then it's like, nope, nothing came out about that. Yeah. And it didn't make any sense. So they just kept with her intense hatred against him for no reason.
Yeah, but the plus sides of the storyline, we get a little, just one-sided phone call with Tracy Quartermaine. Always nice to get her name checked at least.
Yes, I did like that he called Tracy and that they're still utilizing her in their relationship since she was their friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I like that, and like you're saying, I do like that relationship that's kind of developing between Griffin and Finn. I like it.
Yeah, I like their friendship.
Yeah, it's nice to have that because for so long Finn seemed to be butting heads with everybody at that hospital except for Monica and Tracy.
Yeah.
But like for other hospital personnel, it was always coming into conflict. So, and where's Brad? Because for him being like such a hot button issue, like I have seen hide nor hair of Brad.
No, and it's like, it really shouldn't Brad be like, yeah, you were wrong about me. I told you I didn't do it. Like, we should at least have that sort of scene. Yeah. And then Brad joined it, and they could be a trio of bros, hanging out.
Didn't do anything like that. But he's still worrying about that condo. Or, whatever, let's get that big townhouse or whatever he was trying to get. Oh, yeah. So I don't know how much longer she's going to be on the show for.
Yeah, that's the thing is we don't have a last air date or anything like that. And, too, most people are saying, like, what was the deal? Because as the writer said, storyline reasons, why? Yeah. Like, because, honestly, we had good direction going with this character and connecting to other stuff. And I thought the only reason maybe was to kind of get Ulbricht to exit the show, which we don't want either, even though she is coming back to Arrow, Kathleen Gaddy. So, yeah.
So, to take one little tangent off of this, so, of course, speaking of people coming back to the show, Steve Burton coming back, who knows? I think everybody assumes it's going to be Jason Quartermaine, or Jason Morgan. If not, I think a lot of people are going to go crazy about that.
Yeah, there would be no way.
But can you see anything right now that you've been watching that is even starting to plant any seeds to see how he could come in?
No, and that's the thing, is that's why everyone keeps asking and is wondering what's really going on with that, because currently on canvas, they don't seem to be planting anything to say that this is not the real Jason, or that there's another person out there with his face and things like that.
Yeah. Because I don't want Billy Morgan to be the real Jason Morgan. I just feel like, as much as, he's kind of had the character for the past couple of years, if you're going to bring back Steve Burton to the show, it's got to be him. It's got to be him as Jason Morgan.
Yeah, because no one would accept it any other way. And two, Billy Miller just signed a new contract, so he's going to be sticking around. So I don't really see them, though, planting the seeds. That's what all of us assumed with this Sam storyline was going to eventually open up.
Yeah.
But it just seems to be over with now.
I mean, I guess the only reason you're kind of delaying that right now is to really play up the fact of whoever, say, Billy Miller doesn't turn out to be Jason Quartermaine or Jason Morgan. Turns out to be somebody else that's had his memories kind of, wiped by Helena to make her think that he was Jason Quartermaine or Jason Morgan the whole time. I feel like now you really especially with this storyline, you really kind of setting the foundation to why Sam would want to stay with this guy, even if Steve Burton comes back to the show. I would think, where it's oh yeah, you're back too, but I guess you could really understand the connection between these two.
Yeah, because Scout is his. It's not.
That's true.
Yeah, the Steve Burton Jason.
Yeah.
Well, and that was sort of the thing with Todd and Taya and Blair and all of that on One Life to Live as well, as this other Todd had kids with and then, or he had a special relationship with Taya's kid, and then he had another kid over here so it was two different guys that you come to find out when they were twins. So I'm guessing that that'll be a good conflict.
Yeah, I would, because then I guess as people are saying, if that's the case, then you could actually open up the way to so many people saying, oh, we can finally get Liz and Jason back together. And for real, because Sam gets her guy, and now Liz can get, it's you almost both of them get their own version of Jason, so to speak.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure that fans have fantasized about this for years. But at the same time, well, where does that leave characters like Franco? I mean, and because I really like their relationship and his relationship with Jake. I know it's a pretty split fan base, but what happens to that?
I guess he must be on some really long vacation.
He apparently was filming some other stuff, but I think he should be back, because they said he was back taping, and he was at Fan Club weekend. Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping, because I know that she's kind of mentioned that Franco's up in New York trying to get his the legal issues surrounding his artwork and stuff cleared up. I would hope that when he comes back that he actually we can explore more of Franco the artist again, to have him have access to all his body of work, to be able to sell it, and not have. I don't want to see any more scenes of him trying to get his credit line increased from his credit card company.
Well, and two, that would be a good reason to kind of bring Franco into, if we are going to literally give people Liaison and J-Sam at the same time, and that's what everybody's wanted for years, okay, then Franco fits with Ava. Whether they're just good friends like her and Scotty or whatever, but the art, her gallery, because I know Valentine's trying to help her out there, and
the speaking of the Jeromes for a moment, segueing to that storyline. So we've got Sam, of course, in crisis medically. Alexis, as always, as much as she says, I'm done with you, Julian, still reaches out. I mean, I guess understandably so. It is your daughter, but it also feels like I still want to maintain some kind of connection with you too, to let you know about this. And comes here, and Julian, not well received when he gets over to General Hospital.
As we talked about, we loved whenever Christina, because even me, I'm because Christina has every right to hate Julian. When she just started in on him, I was laughing. I mean, I like Julian, but one of the reasons I like him is because people get to hate him.
True.
As they should. And Jason's nah, she pretty well said it. Get out. It was great.
But I also felt like as Christina was yelling at Julian, saying, hey, when Sam finds out about this, because Sam wouldn't want you here, and she finds out that you're basically the reason that this is happening to her, she's going to hate you even more. But they had this scene where they talk, and that really doesn't get brought up, and so I'm like, well, all right.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is I did like how this week kind of, everybody who hates Julian still hates Julian, but Sam kind of softened towards him because I feel like Julian was trying to protect Sam because he knew she wasn't in her right mind, and and kind of worried that she did something to Sonny is why he didn't tell her the truth. And that was the thing, is I like, and when he was asked to leave by Alexis, he left. And that's why Julian's a little bit more palatable, is he's not really forcing it. Alexis is inviting him, but with, a little bit of standoffishness. And, it was good that he was at least there and caring. And
yeah, I again, that seems like a character that we've talked many a time about like storyline potential for Julian, and I still feel like the writers haven't quite grabbed on a direction to take him now after all this has happened, because I get the feeling that I don't know, it seems weird, and I guess you're playing it as real. Somebody, if you feel a strong connection and then they also try to kill you, it's not so easy to kind of break yourself apart away.
Yeah.
So I can understand that, but I also feel like, is that just all it's going to be now? Is just Julian and Alexis and trying to take however long it takes to kind of build some way for them back together? I hope there's more for Julian other than just that.
Yeah, because we'll get a scene here or there, especially his scenes with Ava. Those are great.
Mm-hmm.
This is what shows that there is this good side of Julian, because he has been there for Ava. And, he's given her space when she needs it, taking care of her, trying to help her get out of the house and things like that. And I like seeing stuff like that. And then you have him with Nina, working together and all of the stuff with Crimson. It's but let's see more of that, because Julian does have a job.
Yes.
And that's really interesting. And he has great chemistry with Nina.
I'd love to see more of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be such a nice change of pace, especially when you kind of tease the possibility that him and Valentine can kind of go be butting heads. That'd be cool to see him more of the. Let's see them. If you're not going to get Ned back on a regular basis, and you're not going to have Jax back, then at least the only one that can kind of have any kind of business holdings would be Valentine. So let's have the two of them kind of butting heads.
Yeah, because that's just a way more interesting way to go.
Yeah.
Huh.
I would rather have that. So.
Yeah, because we get it. Alexis's family hates Julian, as they should.
Yes.
But that's becoming a little bit stale.
Yeah, it's everybody comes and dumps on Julian, and then he just goes away.
No.
So speaking of the Jerome family, though, we've got Ava's side, where certainly you get to really kind of see how much more of that scarring is. They've done a better job with the makeup there, because right after she got out, it just seemed like she had a bad sunburn.
Yeah, it really wasn't that bad. And
yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
So now you kind of really see, that. But I did like the scene where she takes out the mask and she pulls back the mirror after her conversation with Valentine, and I don't know if she's noticing. She seemed like she just noticed how terrible that the damage on that side of the face was. Because she's like, oh my. I'm like, you've already been looking at this for a while, Ava, haven't you? Okay.
Yeah.
But as you were mentioning, we get the conversation with Valentine.
Yeah, that was actually probably one of my favorite scenes this week. Because, again, it made complete sense and is driving a current story and brought two characters that hadn't really shared scenes, but they're such great actors you really wanted them to. And I like that Valentine is not threatening or anything. He's just like, hey, you know what? I used to have a messed up face too, Yeah.
What I love about that is that, and that's what the one of the things I really appreciate about soap opera storytelling when it's done right, is when you can take two characters and find that kind of common threaded connection that can change a storyline. We're like, oh gosh, I never really thought about that for a second, that Valentine had this history, and that's a way that he could be able to get something out of Ava in return for her, changing her story, or at least dropping her story.
Yeah, because I like that he had that thought, because much like you, I didn't think about that until it was like, oh yeah, well now he has something that he wants her not to say that, and so he's going to use it.
I thought that was really cool. So that's when the show's firing, and I'm like, all right, thanks.
That's a good storyline.
Yes. Yeah. So that was cool, and their whole conversation, I really like that, and just Ava's, like you were saying, just her just really dialing into just I got to hold on to at least one shred of decency, and no matter what, I just got to do this. And for her, I feel like that's something that Ava that first came on and killed Connie.
Yeah.
I don't think you would get her to say the kind of things that she was saying about holding on to telling the truth and wanting to do the right thing.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is this is the Ava that we saw with Silas, because I always hated that they really didn't ever go full force with that, because they had such great chemistry and they were really good characters together, and he saw the good in her. Just like, there were times with her with Morgan, and that was one of my favorite lines of the whole scene. There were two men I could have loved, and I killed one of them and you killed the other. And that was just like, I really like that her relationship with Nicholas is still important because she was with him at the end of his life and they were fun. It's just, it sucks that we're never going to get some of that back unless they rehire Nix to Bill.
I wish they would. I feel like it is crying out to have Nicholas in some form.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like we've got to get some sort of Nicholas back because the thing is the Valentine we see now is really more like Nicholas or Stefan.
Yes.
He is that sort of Cassadine where he's done some bad things and he's always got this evil air about him, but he's actually not a crappy guy because you see how good of a dad he is. And then this sort of offer to Ava, while it's kind of, not all that evil, it's not like he could be threatening her, he could be doing this, and he's like, no, I know what you really want, to fix your face. And the fact that she was owning all of her crap in this scene and didn't take it is great for her character.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And the way that he described himself, and I could now seeing it, especially with, as you're mentioning, with all this stuff with Charlotte and everything else, and with Nina, that when he says he's neither saint nor sinner, he's somewhere in between. I'm like, that is a really good description of that character. And I do. It's interesting because, in a sense, almost feeling like Ava too, where no matter there are those times at Ava where you would accuse her of something that she did, and she will never give it up. And I feel like Valentine is the same way when, especially if anybody could accuse, say like, oh, you killed Nicholas. She's the one that was literally in the room and watched this happen, and still Valentine will not give it up.
Yeah,
it's like, no, I watched you. I saw exactly what happened. I know what you did, and he still won't. He won't cop to it. So like that's definitely another connection between those two characters.
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing is I would like to see more with them. Even though I like Valentine with Nina, it's like if we want to mix things up, the two of them do have chemistry. Yeah.
I mean, I'm liking just, if you're gonna have Valentine on there, I like the idea of like getting him more involved in Ava's orbit, getting him more involved with even with Alexis's, just getting more involved in something like that. I mean, it's a shame right now it's more of an antagonistic side because she's representing Spencer in the civil lawsuit, but I'd rather see more scenes between the two of them that just be more on just the Cassadine family side.
Yeah, that's the thing is I really hope that they sort of become a little bit more in the understanding there with Alexis and Valentine because they have great sibling chemistry and they're both the black sheep, the bastards that Helena tortured, in a sense. So they should bond over that, right?
They should, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the Cassadines, we do have one other Cassadine that is now leaving the canvas again. We got our boy Spencer, who, I feel like I'm of two minds about it. Because one, like his character can get from like cool to annoying so quickly within a scene to me. But I feel like when they do something like this, where he gets to show like he's just his hurt that he still feels about like his father being dead and being the idea of being shipped away back to boarding school in France and being all alone again and seeing just how much that would hurt him. Those are moments where I'm like, yes, all right, that is a moment about the character. I like those parts of it.
Yeah, that scene when Laura tells him she has to take him back to boarding school with him and her and Kevin, like, I got a little teary-eyed. I mean, he is so good in those scenes.
Yeah.
With the, Jeannie Francis is, of course, a powerhouse, and John Lindstrom, and, like, just how he holds his own and really brings it. That's just great. And, too, you could really see the hurt on Laura's face, feeling like she has to do that. But how great was it when Kevin's like, you know what, I'm coming, too. He's like, I'll miss you. Like, and it's like, oh, Spencer, that's so sweet.
I'm glad they did that, though. I'm glad they had him decide to go with him. I was like, all right, man, I cannot say enough how much I enjoy those two of them together.
Yeah, and who knew that putting Kevin Collins and Laura would have been so great, but they're actually one of my favorite couples. It's like Ned and Olivia and them, and then Hayden and Finn were one of them, too, where you're happy to see these couples on screen. And you're like, these are such great, because they all started out as friends, and, it was something that kind of grew. And I would say even Liz and Franco. I know that not everyone's in agreement with that one, but it's like these are actually good relationships that we like to see. Yeah. Much better than, say, Sonny and Carly, and even Jason and Sam. I mean, Jason and Sam have had some good moments, I will say. Billy Miller in the hospital scenes was just killing it. But it's just, there's so much drama, and I'd rather see these couples like them than aren't always.
Yeah. Well, and I felt like the one thing I liked about the Laura Kevin comparing is that it's taking Laura, who's been, at least since she's come back and kind of been now on canvas, kind of a more of a front burner character of sorts. But Kevin was somebody that had kind of been just kind of lost to obscurity in GH for the longest time. To be able to go back and pull out a character like that and say, yes, we can actually do something with that. It's like I wish they would do that more with some of the other older characters or characters that haven't been on the show in a while.
Yeah, like, Mac and Felicia, as we always say. And Lucy and Scotty have at least been getting some stuff lately. And that's the thing, is I kind of hope we have some more Scotty Ava scenes coming up, because their friendship is really fun to watch,
Him, whether it's talking to Ava or even his scenes this week with Julian.
Yes.
just great. And, and it's, at least I like it that somebody acknowledges Scotty's legal expertise. Which I feel like Julian is like, oh, yeah, okay, you really do know your stuff. Like, yeah,
yes,
all right.
He is a good lawyer.
Yes, for sure. But, again, the other thing that kind of bums me out, though, about the Scotty and is that Serena came back, for a couple weeks ago for that episode and talk about Lee's death. I was like, I wish we could have used that to actually, there's more storyline you could do with the three of them.
Well, yeah, and it's really frustrating because a lot of people have said, Nell should, or Chloe Lanier should have been Serena, or if we couldn't get Carly Schroeder back full time, and that, with Michael, that would have been really interesting. Scotty's kid with Sonny's kid, yeah, there would be a lot of history. But it's just like whenever they had Logan come on for Lulu, and then they, quickly dash that, and it's like, that would have been such a good story.
Yes. It's just, I would, again, I feel like certainly the moment was important. You're kind of honoring that, the passing of that actor within the universe of the story. So it's great. But I also feel like if you're going to bring that character back, which I think fans have wanted for the longest time, and gets name checked a lot between Lucy and Scotty, to like, if you're going to bring her back, let's have her do more than just that. Let's have her do something else too. Yeah,
and as I say, if we couldn't keep the original actress Carly Schroeder, who's great, we could have, Chloe Lanier, Nell, would have been just fine as Serena, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why that wasn't even thought of. Why have this character sort of connected to this when you could have easily had her hate Carly for Scotty? Like, I mean, that you could have done it better.
Gosh, that would have been interesting to see how they would have tied it in with Scotty and how Scotty would have felt the fact that his daughter had lost a kidney.
Yeah, or something like that. It's like, and we could have even gone without the stupid kidney part. I mean, it's just like hindsight. We're like, oh man, this would have been way better and probably less convoluted.
Yeah. But to go back to Spencer, I mean, I could see where it's like from, as, that 10-year-old kid or whatever, he keeps pushing, trying to get vengeance or, for his father, just seeing how finally he just goes a step too far. Because certainly the way he just keep running off was always annoying to me, where it's like, oh, he's at camp. Oh, no, he's not really at camp. He's over at Windermere, or he's off doing something else. That stuff got annoying with me. But at least I like that it was annoying for a reason, because it basically just made Laura say, I can't keep you here, because it's just, you're going to keep pushing too far and you're actually going to get yourself hurt.
Yeah, and that's what I really liked about those scenes, is that we at least understood why, because, he's like, I'll never give up on going after Valentine. And it's like, yeah, that's why we have to take you out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just, part of me was actually like, I wish you'd keep him on canvas, because it would just be interesting to see a 10-year-old kid, like, constantly butting heads with Valentine. Just like, that's his ultimate nemesis.
Yeah. And that was the thing, is James Patrick Stewart was so funny in those scenes too, because he just gets so frustrated with little Spencer.
Yes.
And because he's not like a terrible guy, he just calls him a little jerk or something. Yeah. He's like, Spencer's a little jerk. It's like, that's cute.
Yeah, I really would have liked to see them just a duel of wits between the two of them to see who could one up each other constantly. But I also feel like the way that, at least it'd be curious to see what this civil lawsuit does. I feel like if it goes and nothing comes of it, then I'll feel like, well, then why did we spend so much time on this storyline?
Yeah.
But then I guess what comes of it is that I guess they get Windermere, or I don't know. It's definitely a lose-lose on either way.
Yeah, and too, I like that, they keep tying it to, like, OJ and things, especially because little Nicholas played little Rob Kardashian. Right. So that, it's cute, but it's like, I guess with him leaving, we've dropped it. Or I guess they'll kind of keep it around because of Ava. I mean, if they're going to fix her face, we kind of need to keep it around. Because maybe Alexis will stick with it.
True, because then I'd also want to see a scene where that if Ava decides to recant her testimony and go with Julian, or go with Valentine to get her face fixed, then I want to see a scene between her and Spencer. about, and Spencer
Yeah.
just laying into her about like, why did you do this? You said you were going to stick up for my dad, and why didn't you? I'd be curious to see what that scene is, and I hope they'd bring Spencer back at least for that scene.
I hope so too, because Ava's scenes with Spencer are just great. you know?
Yes, it's man, it does make me wish that Tyler Christopher was not heading to Days and that he was heading back here.
I know, that's so frustrating because General Hospital's a way better show.
Yeah, I don't even know what character is he playing a new character.
I have no idea. I don't watch that.
Don't pretend. I
James
know you
here.
dialed in. Yeah. Where's Tony and everybody
Yeah.
from Edition Days to be able to fill us in on that? But yeah, so then I feel like you got to recast. I feel like that out of any character right now, I feel like that's the character that's crying out to be back on the canvas.
Yeah, that's the thing, is there are certain characters, like Lucky, there are plenty of times where you're like, yeah, this really should be Lucky. Lucky should be here. But more so right now, we need Nicholas. If we can only have one of Laura's sons, let's make it be Nicholas.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess because he certainly has a lot of stuff to do whenever you come back on canvas. You left a lot of stuff up in the air, but then ultimately, then I guess you start thinking about once that initial storyline's done, what else is there left for Nicholas? Because I don't want to see him go down like another relationship that's just gonna be a bust.
Well, that's why I'm like, if he were on canvas, it'd be with Ava, and that would be interesting, because
Yes.
it'd kind of be interesting to see Ava in, like, because Ava's not going to be kind of a princess, like, say, Hayden or Britt or whatever, a lot of Nicholas's women have been. Ava can hold her own.
Very true.
Yeah.
Oh, that man,
Yeah.
I'd be excited about that possibility. We probably won't get it. What a shame. Gosh, the other storylines for this week. Oh, well, we've got, of course, Curtis and Stella. I like the scene between Curtis and Finn over there at the floating rib, where Finn was like, hey, some people just, they kind of milk these symptoms, even if they're not conscious of it.
Yeah.
And so I liked at least that acknowledgement of it. I don't know. I'm curious to see how long they're going to drag this out before they reunite them, between Curtis and why am I blanking on her name?
Jordan.
Jordan, that's it. One of those J names. Yes, good old Jordan. How long they're going to milk this one out?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to be back together by the end of the month. Because you could tell that Curtis was like, oh, really? Yeah.
So it's I do like the scene there where she's looking at the footage and he comes up in the hospital just like, Jordan, like she's a police officer. She's not too surprising to see her here at a hospital. It's not usually life and death, but the way he was treating it was like, Jordan, is everything all right?
Oh.
Yeah, I did like the scene between Carly and Jordan about that. Like, why are you even really trying to find Sonny? And so at least I liked that it was a nice nod to history about everything that Sonny had done for TJ.
Yeah, and I liked that Jordan kind of put Carly in her place. She's like, yeah, I have everyone on it. Like, Sonny was important to TJ, so I do want him to be found, even though all this. And I like how Carly's like, oh, sorry.
There's no big thing. It's like, oh, all right.
Oh, okay, thanks. Foot in mouth there.
Is there any other storylines that are really crying out this week?
I think that was it. Yeah.
We have some time left.
Yeah.
Or actually, not too much time, but we could probably maybe take like one call or two.
Yeah, we could take some
Why don't we
phone
do
calls.
that? Because
Yeah.
you know what? I mean, I haven't been here in weeks.
And they want to talk to you, Frank.
They don't want to talk to me. They don't talk to Lucretia, but I would like to just be the conduit to get you to Lucretia. So yeah, feel free. We'll do take a call, maybe two. We'll cap it at 2 calls because we've got the Restless wrap up coming up.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And the Sunday soap block, is going crazy. But folks, if you want to call in and get a chance to talk, not to me, because who cares about talking to me, but you get a chance to talk to the one, the only Lacretia Lyon, the way you do that is you call us directly, and that's 424-253-0749. It's your direct line to a good time. That's right.
Yep. Frank's other job is for doing a phone sex hotline.
That's right.
operating.
Yep. There you go. Yeah. That's you name it. I love it. Thank you. That's right. So while we're waiting for the phone lines to blow up, which we've got a call. Look at this already.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to talk to Lacretia Lyon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GH Report. What's your name and where are you from?
Hey, it's Mike Riley from New York. How are you?
Mike,
Mike.
how are you, sir?
I am very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Doing
Long
well.
time no speak.
Oh, well, I've missed you terribly, Mike.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, how's this week's General Hospital treated you?
I mean, I'm liking it. I mentioned in the past that I'm not really into the Sam storyline with the visions and the illness, and I don't care. I mean, how many deathbed confessions are we going to have from Sonny? He's always like injured and, you know, talking to God about how he's not such a good person, but, you know, and I think he's beyond not such a good person at this stage.
Yeah.
So I'm a little over all of that.
Thank
But
you,
other
me
than
too.
that, I like it.
So which storyline did you like less? Manlanders, which we didn't see this week, or this Sam illness storyline?
Well, I have mixed feelings about the Manlanders. I don't like the storyline, but I don't know the actress's name. I do like the fact that they're giving Nurse Amy sort of a front burner storyline, because I actually think she's really likable and she's really good. So I like seeing her on the canvas. I just don't like the Manlander storyline. So if they could give her a different vehicle and put her up front more often, I would appreciate that.
No, I can understand that, because I don't know how you feel, Lacretia. Like her when she first popped up and she's just kind of that little gossipy person, that really annoyed me. But seeing her kind of fleshed out more during this course of the storyline at least made me a little bit more sympathetic towards her.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is the storyline with her brother did make you understand her character more and made her more likable, and it was good to give her some backstory and maybe sort of explain why she does, you know, was a little gossipy and stuff.
I still don't need to see
Yeah,
her.
and
Yeah.
I like the actress. She's
Yeah.
bright, she's bubbly, you know, she's fun. And also a new nurse that's, I don't know the name of this actress either. She's only like popped up every now and then. I find her very believable too. She's African American. I don't know the nurse's name, but I think she's great too. Like,
Yeah,
let's
she's
have
just
like
cute.
Elizabeth be the head nurse and have more, because for a while there, you know, we kind of saw Sabrina and Felix and Elizabeth as this kind of trifecta of nurses, but now they seem a little bit like spread out and more sporadic. I'd like to see like a good group of nurses that are friends.
Yeah, because we have Epiphany, but we never get to see her. And Sonia Eddy's so
No.
great, and she's the head
Oh,
nurse.
she's
But
amazing.
if we have like Epiphany with Liz and with Amy and with this other new nurse and Felix, you know, I like that we've had more hospital scenes lately, because we have now Griffin and Finn hanging out, and the show is called General Hospital. Let's maybe have some hospital storylines.
Yeah.
Sure thing. And the last thing that I'll comment on is, if you remember, I called in months and months and months ago, and I also posted it on your Facebook page, that Heather was the teller of half truths, and it, you know, maybe she knew that there were twins, and she just tried to present Franco as Jason's twin, but maybe she knew all along that they really were a set of twins. She just kind of manipulated people into thinking Franco was Jason's twin, but it's actually the Billy Miller character. Because I would love Steve Burton.
Yeah, that would be logical.
Jason. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But to have Steve Burton get back with his Jason, get back with Sam, get Franco out of Elizabeth's orbit, because I hate that pairing, and have
I know, I'm the only
have
one that
Billy
likes it.
Miller's Jason and Jake, and get them two back together. Because I liked it when he was Jake and when he was Elizabeth. They were like a very believable couple. But to pit, like I said it a week or two ago, the actor who's most known for being rapist Franco and rapist Todd Manning, with Elizabeth Weber, whose biggest storyline was being raped as a teenager, that is not a good pairing for me. It is just so unbelievable to me, because I'll always see Franco as Todd Manning, the rapist, and I'll always see Elizabeth as the girl that was raped in the park, and I don't want to see those two together.
I get it. Like, and that is most people's reservations about them. Yeah.
Guys, it was a
Icky.
brain tumor.
Yeah.
It was a brain tumor, guys.
Yeah,
Come
Diane
on.
had it in a jar and everything.
Yes.
And I'm like, and Franco actually didn't rape anyone, but
Still.
Todd
I know, but
is,
I like, you know,
yeah,
he's still got
yeah.
that persona.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still looks rapey.
Right.
Like,
He
that's
looks
funny.
crazy.
Yeah.
And like and Becky Herbst is like forever youthful. So
Yeah,
it's just
she
like,
hasn't aged in the
or
20 years she's been on the show, I swear.
She's Snow White. She's gorgeous.
It's somewhere
But
she.
that's all I have to say.
Well, Mike, it was a pleasure for you calling in. I'm sure that Becky Herbst has got like a portrait in her attic somewhere that is aging rapidly while she stays eternally young. I think that's
Doriana Gray.
That's
I got
right.
it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Mike. Thanks for
Okay.
calling in. We'll talk to you
Talk
soon.
to you
Take care. Yeah, it's oh, hey, folks,
Yeah.
we got
Oh,
another
wow.
another
Yeah.
phone call. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GH report. What's your name and where are you from?
Mike from LA.
Oh, Mike from LA. Look at it. It is the day of Mike's here for us.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
pretty good.
All right. So, what are your feelings on General Hospital this week?
2 words. Colton Scott should come back as Nicholas.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Nick Stabil, but if we could have Nicholas and Colton Scott's the only one available, I would be okay with that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I look at his IMDb page. He ain't working on nothing that's I know, so it's free.
Yeah, he's
So-
free. All right.
Yeah. Let's just get him. Because what is Nicholas DeBille doing? Is he doing anything either?
I don't know. I'll look up on
Yeah.
IMDb.
But
Let's
yeah,
see.
no, I feel like much like you, Mike. That's a character he is so talked about. It's like I feel like it's just crying out, especially for I think not even necessarily for Spencer's character, but for Ava's character. Nicholas would be such a good injection into that.
Also, I think Steve Burton will probably play the doctor or owner of the body shop if that our team's going to take Ava to get her face fixed.
Oh, that would kill me if that was
Yeah.
the case.
Oh, that would be so funny.
Oh no, but
Yeah.
that would be awful. If that's his character. I'm the doctor.
They're
of
like,
this
yep,
plastic
we're gonna
surgeon."
do that.
Oh yes, but you do bring up a good point there too. That we're taken to this kind of off the books place where they can do like these medical miracles. Could explain how Billy Miller could have been made to look like Steve Burton.
Yes,
and then been
exactly.
injured. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right. So that could tie into that, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be interesting, and that would be a good umbrella storyline since we will be having this on there. And then, maybe that is where they find Steve Burton.
Oh, yeah. Still
Yeah.
much like Duke Lavery, still in a coma.
They can get Jason with this Jason.
Oh.
And Sam and Curtis to investigate and finally open up that damn security firm that God been wanting them to, to open.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Just do it already. That would be so much more interesting than watching Sam go bonkers with
Yeah.
with the cat litter disease. That's what I'm calling it from now.
Yeah.
Just cat litter disease.
It's funnier. Yeah. 'Cause I'm like, that's what you get from cat litter.
That's right. Mike, man, thanks so much for calling in. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care, Mike.
Yeah, and Nick Stabil, and the last thing he did was GH. So, yeah.
That was it?
Like,
Really?
why? Oh, right. Oh,
Oh, hi, Steve.
hi.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Caller inbound.
Oh,
let's
wow.
take it. Fire in the hole. Caller in the hole. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GH Report. What's your name and where are you from?
Well, it's about time somebody super glued your butt to the chair.
All right.
Wow.
Hey, Kelly.
Kelly, I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed. It's your caller 3. What happened to the Kelly that I know and love that could be number 1 in the block?
I kept getting a recording saying I couldn't get through.
Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not put a recording on Kelly. Top priority here. How are you, Kelly? What did you think of this week at General Hospital?
I only saw bits and pieces because I worked during GH time. I PVR it.
Oh, yes.
But the only storyline I really like this week is Ava and Valentine.
Yeah, that was definitely the best scene this week. And then Nicholas, not Nicholas, little Nicholas, Spencer's.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that
his
made
was
me-
great. Yeah.
No, that-
Those two scenes, those two pairs of characters, I love. The rest of that was crap.
and
I hate to say it because I love everybody on GH, but yeah, the rest of the storylines are crap.
I felt like that whole Sam and Sonny story just like took so many characters along with it that it was like, boy, that's a lot of characters being used in a not good story.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been going on for months. Wrap it up, people. Wrap it up.
Kelly, are you a big J-Sam fan?
No.
Okay.
Nada. No, never.
So if it turns out that this Jason is really the fake Jason and Steve Burton comes back as the one true Jason, would you be more excited about seeing Steve Burton and Kelly Monaco, or would you rather see Steve Burton off with?
I am not a J-Sam fan, period.
Oh, okay.
Was it the Summer
Period.
of Sleeves
I mean,
that
I
did
love,
you in?
I love Kelly Monaco. She's a great actress, but no.
But I also don't want to see her in a hospital for at least the next year. No more. You can maybe visit her hospital, but don't be a patient.
Yeah, and if you're Jason's wife,
fair enough.
you're going to be in the hospital. So that's part of the problem, yeah.
Oh, man.
She needs to buy a hospital room. She's been there enough.
That's right. She have her own like memorial hospital room right there. You're in.
Yeah, have her own hospital room with her name on the door. That's what that girl needs, is a hospital room with her name on the door. That way they can just take her from ER straight to that room.
Kelly, I know I asked Lacretia this, so I'll ask you as well too. Is that we're kind of speculating how you think Steve Burton would come back onto the show? Do you think he'll be Jason Quartermaine, and how do you think he'd come back on?
Well, he'll have the old Jason face, that's for darn sure. I think he's going to be maybe another twin.
Okay.
And Franco is not. Or him and Franco are twins, and Billy Miller's character is like a soldier to Helena.
All right. Nice. So I'm hoping by I got to imagine by November sweeps we're gonna see him.
I hope sooner, but definitely by then.
Oh man.
Give me a birthday present. Have it wrapped up by November 6th.
Right.
That'd be fantastic. All right. From your lips to the general hospital writer's ears. Fingers crossed.
And Steve Burton back on the tree. I want to see that hot butt on that TV.
But I'd also be curious to see, because Billy Morgan gets a lot of screen time on that show.
Yeah.
You put Steve Burton on there as well, too, how that's going to balance out.
Yeah.
I know. It's going to be like a male cat fight with those two.
Well, if it could push some of Sunny's screen time off, I'm all for it.
Boo. Oh, man. But as excited as I am to have him on there, that feels like that's also going to be less screen time for Dante. It's going to be less screen time for Nathan, Scotty.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I hope that
I
if we
love
have all
Scotty.
these people, they balance more. Because, Dante, Nathan, Scotty, these are all great characters, too.
No, I'm with you.
Although Scotty's a little shady, though.
But I like his shade. He's like Saul Goodman.
That's true, yes. That's true. It is funny. Every time he's on, he's eating something.
Yeah, it's great.
Always eating.
He's always eating, which is fantastic. But I feel like
Always eating.
the one thing I'm missing, though, is that he seemed to be really feeling the heat about everything that happened with Ava and the revelations about with Morgan. But now it feels like
They set under the rug or something?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was heading for the PCB lockup.
Yeah, and now it just seems like, oh, no, I'm just helping out Julian with this case, and everything's going to be fine. I kind of miss seeing Scotty sweating.
No law license. Hello?
Yeah. And did you like seeing Serena on there?
Alexis lost her law license for a whole lot less than that.
Yeah.
Don't let. But I feel like if you make Scotty lose his law license, then we're never going to see him on the show. Because they would never bring him.
That's true. That is true.
Oh, don't do that.
But somehow.
All right, Kelly,
Scotty
thank you.
fan for years.
Oh, I know. More Scotty is always a good thing. And I feel like
It is. Or Scotty eating somewhere is a great thing.
I'm going to have a nice big steak, and then I'm going to send somebody off to Sing Sing, as you would used to say.
Oh, him and Nathan should share a steak.
Yeah.
Or ribs.
Oh, yes, at that poker night where they got Spencer's
all the other
chauffeur.
characters that aren't on the show.
Yeah, because, now Chandler's not going to have a job anymore now with Spencer going, so, poor Chandler's.
He's not going to have money for poker.
Yeah, way to think about that, Laura.
Yeah.
You just unemployed Chandler now. Good job.
Yeah.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much for calling in. Please don't be number 3 next time. Please be number 1.
I was trying.
All right.
I was
Okay. All right.
Don't fault me for trying, or I'm going to really
Not at all.
glue you to that chair.
All right. Just happy that you called in. It's great to talk to you again, Kelly. I'll talk to you soon.
And congrats to Alexis.
Oh, yes,
right,
absolutely.
yeah.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Look at that.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to wrap up this episode of the GH Report. Any last thoughts, Lacretia?
I think I got it all out.
Get it all out? Got it all out. Aired it all out.
Yes.
Any last thoughts for Alexis Torres as she becomes Alexis Torres Plumley?
I think she's going to go hyphen, but, I'm glad she's keeping her name. Yeah.
Look at
that's
that.
cute.
All right.
Yeah.
I would have liked if they would have just made just a new name. Can we combine the two of them and just made something else?
Yeah, like Flores.
Flores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Torley.
Yeah, guys, tweet them your mashed up couple names for Alexis and Neil for their wedding tonight.
That's true,
That's great. Come up with way better names than we just
Yeah,
did.
nothing's set in stone yet.
Yeah.
Nothing is set
Come
in
on.
stone. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of the GH Report. I didn't think it was going to be possible. It's like, oh my gosh, it's been a few weeks since I've done this.
I know.
Can I make it happen? And I couldn't have done it without the able talent and wit of Lacretia Lyon.
Oh, well, thank you, Frank. You've built me up so much. I don't even know what to say other than you guys can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one. And thank you guys so much for watching. The chat has decided to die on me since I won't be able to say it there. I'll say it here.
How nice. And folks, as always, you can like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and feel free to give us a thumbs up there. We're at 1610, guys. Look at that, 1610 on the Facebook page. I never thought that would happen. But you can follow me at Instagram and Twitter at HappyGoJackie. Follow James Lott Jr. at James Lott Jr., where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold. And Alexis Torres at Alexis Torres, is that what hers is?
It is
A Torres.
Yeah.
A Torres. Look at that. Now it's going to have to be A Torres Plumley.
I know.
It's going to have to change that handle. That's enough characters, right?
I think so.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us for this episode of the GH Report. We'll be back, I think, all of us next week.
I think so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Look at this. Reunited, and it will feel so good. Until then, folks, keep watching GH. We'll see you back here next Sunday night for another episode of the GH Report right here on AfterBuzz TV.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.